everyone and welcome to our very first product webinar. My name's Sophie and I work in the marketing team here at Mamas and Papas. We're here today to launch our very new exciting pushchair, the Strada, and we're really lucky that we've got one of our amazing designers, Matt Harris, here today to talk to us about how unique and special the pushchair is. So welcome, Matt.
Hi.
So you've been at Mamas and Papas for a couple of years now, Matt, so tell me a little bit about what the role is like for you.
Oh, it's great. So in my previous job, I worked on lots of different products, big variety of stuff. So when I came to Mamas and Papas, it was a real opportunity to sort of commit to one industry and really understand a specific set of products. So my role as a senior designer is to work on the travel goods, so the pushchairs, as well as nursery equipment and furniture. So I get to really kind of immerse myself in the way that people are going to use these products and the journey that people are going on when they first had a baby.
Amazing. And you've just recently had a baby yourself.
I have,
congratulations.
Yeah. So that's really helped things. in some ways it's made life a lot more difficult. But yeah, no, I've got a 5-month-old little boy. He's absolutely fantastic. Everything I hoped he would be. So.
Oh, I have a boy myself, so I'm actually used to it. So you're getting into that 5-month age where you're starting to look at weaning and things. That's the exciting part.
Yeah, he's great fun. The smiles now make everything worthwhile for sure.
Oh, it does indeed. So as a parent, obviously now, how do you think it changes the way that you design products for expectant parents in mind?
So I feel like I've been really fortunate in that, because I've been here a couple of years now and we do so much insight generation and research, so we're constantly talking to parents about how they use our products, how they use competitor products, you know, what they do within their day-to-day life with a newborn child. So I feel like if anyone could be prepared for it, I'm as prepared as anyone could ever be. Don't get me wrong, there's still challenges, but at least I have a really good foundation for it. And now I've got a kid, I can really kind of understand those little things, those things that I've been telling people about for so long. It just gives me that little bit more, yeah, you really need this.
Here's the practicality now, we know what it's like in real life.
Definitely, and it's really helped, you know. But, you know, like I say, fortunately for me, I already had a really solid idea of what kids are, what's involved when you've got a kid and what parents are looking for.
Amazing. So we're here today to talk about our amazing new Strada pushchair. So we're well known for our one-hand fold Acaro. What are the sort of differences between Strada and the Acaro?
Yeah, it's great that you talk about the one-handed fold actually, because that's, from a design point of view, that really kind of epitomises the approach that we take at Mamas and Papas. It's all very user-centric design. So that's a great example. You know, at some point we identified that you're probably going to need to fold a pushchair while you're holding a screaming child. You want to be able to do that with one hand. So that gave us a really strong, you know, insight into that use case. Drives a nice design attribute of, okay, now we need to make all of our pushchairs fold with one hand. And then that goes on to almost a bit of a design specification for us that says these are the requirements. Now, how do we make that look as beautiful as possible? So it all starts with the user really, and that's kind of where the Strada came in. Like, we know the Acaro has been super successful. It's a brilliant pushchair. We absolutely love it. You know, those huge wheels and the big plush comfort and everything, and the huge hood coverage. You all know the great features of that. But for some people, maybe that's not best for your lifestyle. Maybe you're not out in a field or out on a gravel path or going down the beach all the time, where you know that you need all of those things. And maybe it's just a little bit too heavy for you, or your car boot isn't quite big enough, so it takes a bit too much space. And you want something that still has that same level of luxury, but just in a bit more of a compact frame, bit of a lighter weight frame. And that's what drove us towards the Strada really. We identified that use case and we thought, you know, there's just a slightly different lifestyle element there that we can make a product more specific for that. And that's where we got to the Strada. That's where it all started.
Amazing. I think that's amazing. So you're obviously having a look at how customers are evolving, the different kind of lifestyle, and making sure there's a product there to suit everybody's needs.
Definitely. And that's, you know, that's the end goal for us. Like I said, now I can really throw myself into this industry. I feel like I'm making people's lives better and making people's lives easier. And that's a really rewarding feeling. As a designer, that's what everyone wants to do.
Absolutely. I mean, I guess that's where a lot of your inspiration comes from when it looks to creating these products to make people's lives that little bit easier.
Yeah. And that's it. You know, a lot of people simplify design into just finding a problem and fixing it. And a lot of it is that. It's not just making something look beautiful. You know, that's a big part of it. People shop with their eyes sometimes, and we know that. But for me, it's when someone comes up to me and I ask them about one of our pushchairs and they're like, oh, I actually found out about this really cool little feature
Mm.
as I was using it, and that's what makes the difference.
Makes it all worthwhile, because obviously we can see it's absolutely beautiful to look at, but it's all the clever features that make it functional for everyday use for a new parent as well. So in terms of when you're starting to look at the inspiration for whether it's fabrics or whether it's functionality, how long does that take as part of the design process?
Yeah, so the design process is probably sort of 2 to 2.5 years, depending on various different things. Obviously, a massive chunk of that is research. We want to make sure that the product is right for that environment, it is right for that user, and it is meeting their needs. So we need to really understand them, put ourselves in their shoes. So we do, we'll take our products out, we'll use them, we'll spend a few days sort of out with people who are using those products, or products that are in that category that aren't necessarily ours, just so we can see what features work really well and where these frustrations develop within the product. And that's, like I say, that's the starting point where it all begins. And that'll give us a massive list of just insights. We translate those into design attributes. That gives us our design specification, and we kind of just run with that. We'll work through various different concepts, different prototype levels. We prototype a lot in-house. We've got a 3D printing machine, so we can just test, a hinge or a caster or a wheel or things like that, and then we move on to sort of fully engineered prototypes and then into production. It's all done in this building as well, which is absolutely amazing. There's how many businesses are there now where you can call up to ask a question about a product that you've just bought in the same building as the guys upstairs designing the replacement for that product that's going to come 2 or 3 years down the line.
The idea is born and then the product comes to life.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And speaking of being what we have here in head office, we also have our test lab as well, where we rigorously test products to make sure that we've got parenting needs in mind to see how that product can stand the test of time. So what sort of tests do we do in the test lab on new products?
Yeah, so we've got obviously all the safety compliance tests, so the British standards, the UN standards. Again, they vary globally. We sell these products all across the world, so we have to make sure that we are meeting the safety standards for all the different areas.
Of course.
And then we test sort of above and beyond to a standard that we think's suitable. So I'm trying to think of a great example. So folds is a big one for us, obviously. So we'll want to test this hinge and make sure this hinge is going to perform over and over and over and over. So we'll have machines set up that will simulate a fold of a seat or a fold of a hinge or a fold of a hood ratchet, just to make sure we've got that reliability and that durability within the product. We've got a rolling road as well, which will simulate different environments, so we can put the pushchair on that, simulate it going over a cobbled street or down a gravel track or whatever. So we look for the way that the dirt affects things or the vibrations affects things. Again, it's just making sure that our products are going to last. They're built to last, and that's the thing. These aren't disposable items that are going to be chucked in landfill in a couple of years. Just because you've stopped using it doesn't mean it can stop working.
And you want it to have all those features, being able to go over gravel and obviously still be really comfortable for the baby that's in there, your most precious cargo as well. And I think from speaking from experience as a new parent, when I had our little boy, you just don't know what you don't know, and the fact that mums and papas are trying to do as much of the thinking as possible to make sure products can really stand the test of time is just amazing. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. And there's obviously, we have a massive influence on sustainability and the way that we design these products. So, with the Strada in particular, we're trying to use less plastics, and it all sounds like little things, but it all adds up. If we use 10% less plastic in this than we could have done, by the time you've made a few million pushchairs, that adds up to quite a lot of stuff.
Absolutely.
And just down to the engineering and the manufacturing processes, if we look at things that are more sustainable, or you have a better yield rate, so you're throwing less parts away because they're faulty, or it all makes for a more sustainable product. It's not just using recycled materials necessarily. And it's things like the hood on the Strada is replaceable from the pushchair to the carry cot. So when you buy the full package, which we know a lot of people do, we're only making one of these. So that's like a whole chunk of fabric, a whole extra aluminium tube, zips and bits like that we're only making once rather than twice.
And that just zips off, and then you can replace that. So once your baby feels like you want to move from the carry cot into the seat unit, you just change the hood over.
Yeah, so it's super easy. It just makes the whole product more sustainable. And it also makes, if you're saving this carry cot for maybe a second child, it just makes it a bit easier to store.
Absolutely. No, I think that's amazing. Really clever way to think about products. So no, that's incredible.
Definitely. And that's the sort of mindset that only comes from sort of really immersing yourself in that sort of industry and the way that people use those products.
Yeah, really understanding the lifestyle and how that can make things easy for people as well. No, that's amazing. So from a design point of view, what is so unique about Strada?
Yeah, so I mean, like we said earlier, we've got the one-handed fold, which is absolutely fantastic, and a key thing that will be on all of our pushchairs going forward. And we've kept that comfort that we have in our Akara because we know that that's what people expect. It's that plush seat padding, the lovely fabrics that we use on all of our pushchairs. We've got fully upright seat, fully lay flat seat. It's usable from birth, so that's super fantastic. But the main thing when we talked about the different environmental differences that we've done with this pushchair is lighten down the chassis. We've brought the wheels closer together and we've put smaller wheels on the back and spread the front wheels a bit further apart. As well as using rubber tyres on here, that means it's just super agile and super grippy. So if you're in a bit more of a suburban urban environment, you've got like absolute optimum performance there, but we've still kept like the rubber tyres and the lockable front casters so that if you do go on a gravel path or somewhere that is a little bit more rural, it is perfectly capable of doing that. It's just, it's slightly more targeted towards that urban, suburban environment.
I mean, I'm fortunate, I work in the office, so I've not taken it off-roading, but being able to push it around the office, I was really impressed with how agile it is and how easy it is to steer. It just feels really nifty, and as a short person myself, I didn't want something too big. With this, is really flexible.
Yeah. And again, I say, when you push that around the office, it is absolutely brilliant. It feels super nippy. And this is the thing that we sort of see with people in stores, and they'll push a pushchair around the store and they're like, oh yeah, it's brilliant. And then you put the weight of a baby in it and it completely changes the experience. But with this, it makes it better. So if you're pushing an empty one of these around and you think, wow, this is like super nippy and agile, it's been designed to have weight in it. So when you actually put a baby in it, it makes it even better.
That's when it performs at its best. Amazing. So we're looking at the fabrics as well. Obviously, we've mentioned it's agile. When it comes to sort of selecting the fabrics, does that go through a testing process as well? Because I know this is shower-proof as well for any showers if you're out and about with your baby.
Yeah. So all of our fabrics are coated with a rain protectant. So they're not fully waterproof, but you get a rain cover for that as well. A little shower's not going to hurt it. And through the selection process of that, we work with a variety of different suppliers, different manufacturers, just to try and keep on top of the different trends and stuff that are going for whether that's our pushchairs or whether it's our furniture or whether it's our nursery equipment. We want everything to be up to date, and we're always trying to think a little bit ahead. Aesthetics wise, like I said, we always start with the user, but when we get to the tail end of that and we're just trying to, there's some technical elements of the fabric that are involved in that. We want the fabric for this to look as plush and soft as it is on the Akara, but we're trying to make it a little bit lighter weight. So it's probably going to be a bit thinner, and sometimes you can compromise on quality a bit there. So there's a lot of technical development in that, which the team do upstairs again. But aesthetic-wise, that's when the fabrics really come into their own, and it really supports the other sort of detailing we've tried to do on the Strada. So here we've obviously got some commonality with the Akara in the way that it looks, but we've tried to sort of just simplify the design, slim things down, make it look a bit more contemporary. So we've got a simpler, a thinner tube sections that's lighter weight, a bit cleaner. We've got hidden rivets now as well, so it just like smooths everything out, makes it all look a little bit more fresh. And then we've spent a lot of time working to integrate more of the plastic components into the hinge, so they're a bit less visible. Again, try to use fabric to cover up areas where we'd usually have plastic. We don't have a solid back seat in here as well, so that's taken a little bit of weight out without compromising on the comfort. So visually, it's all just about that simplicity and that cleaner look, and that's where we're trying to drive the identity for Mamas and Papas.
I can see that. Obviously, it looks so beautiful.
Sorry, you asked me about fabric.
No, well, it's all linked, isn't it? Absolutely, it all comes together, and I think the fact that you've got that covering the plastic elements, it really does look sleek and beautiful. It's got all this functionality as well as this beautiful style as well. And we've got 3 colours in this one, haven't we? So this is the cashmere, and then we have navy and grey as well. So I think from when you mentioned to style, is that a nod to style as well, that you're looking at the different colours?
Yeah, definitely. So obviously we do some special editions with our pushchairs. So the team are kind of working on what's on trend and what's environmentally suitable for that. At the same time, we're constantly developing our base fabrics as well. So what we'd class as our signature product, we're always looking at how we can improve those fabrics, keep them up to date, make sure everything is kind of on trend.
Got a long list here of different kind of fabrics.
Yeah, definitely. So we've got, this is just a small sample of the sort of stuff that we've got upstairs, and we're constantly working with suppliers to develop new materials. And the team will see some inspiration on anything. You go out and you look at a coat, a dress, some trousers, a suit jacket. So a lot of that sort of creativity just comes from being in that environment. You never know where it's going to come from. And then we can sort of work with the supplier, say, oh, we've seen this. Do you think you could develop something that has, you know, the same water repellency or the same, you know, tensile strength and all those sort of attributes that we need, but with that look?
I think it's amazing the fact that it's got all these clever features and you have all that thinking, that thought process, and then it looks as beautiful as it does. It just is lovely. I really like the cashmere. I don't know, do you have a favourite out of the 3 colours? Or
I really like the cashmere as well, but I think, you know, they're all good. Greys obviously a very good sort of neutral seller for us, but I think the cashmere is looking really, really nice.
I think you've picked 3 nice colours. I wouldn't even know where to start, especially looking at all of those. I could have a different colour for every occasion, but no, that's a really nice one. I like it a lot. So one thing we had talked about was the agility. When I was giving it a bit of a tour around the office, I was really impressed with how light the frame was and the smaller wheels. So is that all part of the design process to see how does that improve the experience when you're pushing a Strada?
Yeah. And again, that's when we talked earlier about everything happening in this building, that's when it's sort of working really closely with our engineering team. And they will spend a lot of time to work out how can we maintain all the strength in this hinge and make it as light as possible? Or what is the optimum shape for this tube section that still looks how the design team wants it to look, but as strong as possible while being lightweight? That's where the great relationship comes between design and engineering. All the creativity and the user insight and the research and everything kind of comes with us, but it's supported by this great team of engineers that we've got in the same building. It's not necessarily just draw it and send it out for someone else to do.
No, it's all from end to end for that Mums and Papas family to be able to create a product from start to finish that's going to make a parent's life more enjoyable, a little bit more easy when they're trying to get it in the boot of the car as well.
Yeah, and that's where certain developments and that kind of crossover helps us develop some really nice like micro innovation. So stuff that wouldn't necessarily be revolutionary. You know, this is a completely different product to the Acaro in that it's got that kind of different environment and the wider wheels and the agility and stuff. But little things that when I talked earlier about the thing that someone would notice 2 weeks into using the product, go, oh my God, that's actually really useful. Yeah. These people really understand how I'm going to use it. So on the Strada, we've redeveloped the buckle, which again is something we've been working with the engineering team for a while. Instead of having the 2 harnesses that before you'd clip together, if you've got a screaming child in there waving their arms around, it's very tricky. This is now a 5-point, so it's really easy to release and grab them out. And then once you've sat them in there, it's individually putting each section in. So there's no squeezing arms through tight gaps or anything like that. You can just wrap the buckle around them. So that's a really nice feature. Moving to rubber tyres as well. We did a lot of work on the tread pattern here as well, just to make sure it's easy to clean. A lot of tyres will have quite deep grooves in them to try and get some grip. If you think of car tyres, that kind of semantic. We've raised everything up just so it's a little bit easier to clean and to hose down. And, you know, little things like with the car seat adapters, you know, you chuck those in the boot of your car all the time, and then you've got the kids out here
easy
screaming or whatever, and that one slid right to the back and you're reaching in. So we just put a little magnet in there just so that they now stick together.
Yeah, that's really smart.
It's a simple little thing, but you know, it can make quite a big difference when all these little things add up to make someone's life loads easier. Yeah,
when you stood in the rain and you're trying to rush to do something. I remember I used to have to dig for mine in the bottom of my changing bag. I just didn't think of the practical way to do it, so that's just super smart to make somebody's life easier. That's amazing.
Exactly. It's not all about focusing on that one-handed fold or the agility or the different environment. It's all those extra little features that really make our products
super special. Yeah. So you mentioned the one-hand fold there. Obviously, that's famous Mamas and Papas one-hand fold. Could you do us a little bit of a demo for us today?
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, super simple. Just pull the hood back. That's over with the seat, over with the handlebar, and a nice, obvious, big, comfortable carry handle there. Just finishes it off, and it gives you a super compact footprint, so it's really convenient to fit into a smaller boot, or just really nice and easy to store at home when you're in your hall. You don't have to have that fully assembled pushchair that's got, you know, that super big footprint in your hallway. You can fold it up and it's nice and takes up a lot less space.
Really convenient, and you can do it all whilst holding a wriggly baby in one arm as well.
Yeah, definitely. There we go, so that's the one-handed fold. like we said, talking about that compact element of it, because we wanted a fully compact experience for the user. It's pointless someone coming into one of our stores and going, I just want something a little bit smaller than the Acaro. And we go, okay, brilliant, we've got the perfect pushchair for you, you take this home. The first time you use it, you're using the carry cart.
Yeah.
And you've still got this big bulky thing that you can't get into your smaller car. So something else we've been working on is developing a collapsible carry cart for the Strada.
This is one of my favourite features about the pushchair. I think this is ingenious.
Collapses down to be a bit thinner. So if you do need that slightly smaller product, that then collapses down and it just gives you a little bit more boot space.
Amazing. So you've got plenty of room for all those mums and papas shopping bags.
Yeah, it's just a simple pop out like that.
And then the hood obviously can take from the seat unit as well, so you've got that.
Yeah, so the products that we've got here are, obviously there's a hood on this and there's a hood on that. You would only get one hood, and it's an easy to transfer thing. It just zips off that one.
I think that's so brilliant. When I used to have to pop my carry cot on top of my parcel shelf and then move everything around, and that was always trying to hold a baby at the same time, and it was definitely not one-hand fold or convenient when I was shopping for my pushchair back in 2015. So I think this would have been an absolute lifesaver for my small car at the time. Yeah,
it's just that fully compact experience, isn't it? It's, we don't just want to do a great pushchair. We want to do a great carry cot, a great changing bag, a great foot muff, a great rain cover attachment. Those things that would be frustrating trying to put a rain cover on when it's starting to chuck it down, or having to pull that off when it's soaking wet. We want to make the whole experience as good and as simple as possible.
I think when you've mentioned about lifestyle and the different sort of pushchairs to suit lifestyles, I think that's it. When you have a baby, you don't know how that's going to impact on your lifestyle, and what's going to change or what might have to change. Whereas if you are able to have clever products that are able to make your life as new and adapt to your lifestyle as well, things will change. But you might not have to change. You might not have to change things. So no, I think it's absolutely amazing. Really, really beautiful pram, and very clever as well. So that's brilliant.
Yeah, great.
So today we've seen 4 fantastic features of the Strada. The lightweight frame to tackle tight streets and busy shops. It's easy to navigate with small wheels and light steering. The compact one-hand fold for quick storage, and the clever collapsible carry cot. So that just leaves me to say thank you so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure, Matt, to get to know about the Strada, so thank you very much for your time.
Thanks so much, it's great to talk about the product.
No, it's been brilliant. And so if you'd like to test drive the Strada, you can come into one of our stores or visit us online. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.